بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أرحب بكم أنا وأيام الدخيل ترحيبا يناسب حجم الحدث منتدى الحراك الفني المحلي، إحدى منتديات البرنامج الثقافي لبينالي الدرعية تحت شعار تتبع الحجارة. يهدف البرنامج الثقافي لدعم الحراك الفني في المملكة وترسيخ مكانته كجزء أساسي من ثقافة وأسلوب حياة المجتمع السعودي من خلال تنظيم مثل هذه المعارض والمنتديات والمحافل لتسليط الضوء على المشهد الثقافي والإبداعي في المملكة، وأيضاً فتح قنوات ومجالات التواصل مع مجتمعاتها الفنية. نجتمع على مدى يومين في منتدى الحراك الفني المحلي لتبادل الخبرات والمعرفة الفنية والتعرف أيضاً على الفرص المتاحة من خلال المبادرات الفنية والثقافية للجهات الحكومية والخاصة باستضافة نخبة من المسؤولين والقياديين في مجال الفنون والثقافة. والآن كل المساحة للأستاذة AlBakree، الرئيس التنفيذي لمؤسسة بينالي الدرعية التي أنشأتها وزارة الثقافة عام 2020 وتنظم معرضين بينالي فنيين لأول مرة على مستوى المملكة، وهما بينالي الدرعية للفن المعاصر وبينالي متخصص في الفنون الإسلامية. فلتتفضل أستاذة آية مشكورة إلى المنصة.
أهلا وسهلا، مساء الخير. معكم AlBakree، الرئيس التنفيذي لمؤسسة بينالي الدرعية. يسرني أن أرحب بكم جميعا في هذا المنتدى وأن أكون جزءا من هذا التجمع للعقول المبدعة التي تساهم في تطوير أجندة الفن الوطنية وتعزيز أسس نظام بيئة إيجابية للحراك الفني المحلي. في بداية مشوارنا مع المؤسسة وضعنا رؤية واضحة لإنشاء منصة للحوار والتبادل الثقافي، منصة تكون في متناول الجميع بما في ذلك الفنانين والرعاة والمبدعين والمعلمين والطلاب وكل عشاق الفنون. كان الهدف هو خلق رؤية طويلة المدى من شأنها أن تشكل مستقبل هادف للحركة الفنية وترسخ مكانة المملكة العربية السعودية على الخارطة الثقافية العالمية. كان بينالي الدرعية للفن المعاصر حجر الأساس لتلك الرؤية، وسيؤدي نجاح البينالي إلى العديد من المبادرات المشتركة عبر مختلف القطاعات الفنية التي ستساعدنا بشكل جماعي على تحقيق أهدافنا والمساهمة في تطوير بلادنا. وقد رحبنا منذ الافتتاح بالآلاف من رواد الثقافة ومحبين الفنون، وهذا الحوار مع جمهورنا مهم جدا بالنسبة لنا، ونشكر جميع الحاضرين منكم اليوم على المشاركة فيه وإثرائه. أؤمن بأن الثقافة والفن من أهم مقومات الدول، وفي هذه الأوقات العصيبة التي يمر بها العالم بأسره ندرك أهميتهم في تحقيق التمكين والتنمية ودورهم المحوري في تقوية روابط مجتمعنا. لذلك كان من المهم أن نثري البينالي ببرنامج ثقافي مميز خلق فرصاً للمشاركة وسلط الضوء على أهمية التعليم في مجال الفنون وعزز الوعي لضمان إمكانية مشاركة الجميع. ستظل هذه الأجندات أساسية لمؤسسة بينالي الدرعية، وستستمر في التطور وفقاً لتطلعاتنا بينما نستعد لإطلاق بينالي الفن الإسلامي إن شاء الله العام المقبل على نطاق أوسع، وسيضم البينالي عدة تخصصات فنية تتيح الفرصة لجميع التوجهات الإبداعية وصناع الفن للمشاركة. من هذا المنتدى نرحب بحوار جديد وأفكار وأفكار مستحدثة والتزامات متجددة لدفع حدود التطوير بالبنية التحتية الثقافية في جميع القطاعات. سنواصل إقامة علاقات قوية مع الكيانات والمبادرات المختلفة التي ستساعدنا على تعزيز وصياغة مستقبل الصناعات الإبداعية في المملكة العربية السعودية. يستقبل بينالي الدرعية زوارنا حتى 11 مارس، ونرجو منكم دعوة معارفكم وأهاليكم، فهذا هو محفلهم بقدر ما هو محفلنا. أخيراً أود أن أشكركم جميعاً على انضمامكم إلينا اليوم والمساهمة في هذه اللحظة المحورية في رحلة مملكتنا الثقافية نحو مستقبل واعد ومبتكر. I'm going to speak in English right now. Okay. Okay. Good evening. My name is AlBakree, CEO of Diriyah Biennale Foundation. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this forum and be part of this collective gathering of creative minds promoting and contributing to the development of the national arts agenda and a dynamic local arts ecosystem. On the inception of the foundation, we set out with a clear vision to create long-term impact that would positively shape the future of the arts movement in the kingdom and place it rightfully on the global cultural map. We chose the Biennale as the conduit for that vision because of its historic significance as a catalyst for positive impact on culture, society, tourism, and economic development with powerful results. As you can see here, we were doing a lot of research on what a Biennale actually is and what it actually does on a kind of a kingdom level. So we thought about it in so many different ways. It does educational development, inward investment. It increases tourism. It's more from a geolocation perspective. So we'll alternate between two biennales with distinct profiles. The Contemporary Art Biennale, which is this year, and the Islamic Arts Biennale, which is hopefully, inshallah, next year. Basically positioning Saudi as a pioneer in the contemporary arts whilst preserving its heritage, identity, and pride of being cradle of Islam. The Islamic Arts Biennale actually kind of depicts all the different forms of art. It doesn't only specifically work with one specific type of art or theme. Our vision and mission for the foundation, this commitment will help us assume a critical role in nurturing creative expression and instilling an appreciation for the arts and its transformative power. As we continue to position lifelong learning and international cultural exchange at the core of our mission. So we were working a lot on our vision and mission of the foundation, and these were the three kind of main missions that we worked on. And the most important one is to promote the local arts and culture through advocacy, collaboration, and contributing to global dialogue. So we have, at the foundation, we have three strategic objectives: experience and explore, education and engage, enable and empower. And educate and engage, I mean, talks about education in all its forms. It's education when you're in the exhibition itself, asking questions about the artworks, kind of interacting with the artworks, with everybody in the exhibition. But then you can also, cross over and come to the public program, and that's when you get a little bit more explicit education and understand a little bit more about what it is that what art can actually do. You can also we kind of did it in a way where it's a bit more 101 as well. Next week we have a lot of master classes. We're meant to do a very intellectual exhibition with an equally heavy and thorough educational program. So in terms of insights that we've worked on as part of our strategy, the Biennale is a stepping stone for the vision. We just outlined, and the success of it will lead to many more collaborative initiatives across diverse sectors, commissions, and organizations, helping us collectively contribute to the development of our nation. To date, we have welcomed thousands of new cultural consumers and art enthusiasts. This dialogue with our audience is so important to us, and we thank everyone for attending today and further this discussion. Thank you so much.
جهود تشكرون عليها لجعل بينالي الدرعية نافذة عالمية للتعرف على المشهد الثقافي والفني والإبداعي في المملكة. حضورنا الكريم لهيئة الفنون البصرية، عرض تقدمه الأستاذة دينا أمين الرئيس التنفيذي لهيئة الفنون البصرية، تعرض فيه خارطة الطريق، فلتتفضل مشكورة إلى المنصة.
بس أتأكد يمين. طيب ممتاز. السلام عليكم جميعاً، مرحبا، مساء الخير. Good evening everyone. أنا راح أتكلم إن شاء الله بالإنجليزي just to make sure إنه we're all able to understand. My name is Dina Amin. I am CEO of the Visual Arts Commission under the Ministry of Culture. I thought as a relatively young entity, it would be very important to give you a little bit of an overview of who we are and what we do, to situate ourselves within the ecosystem, within the visual arts world of what's happening in Saudi Arabia. We're surrounded by an incredible group of people tonight who are really contributing to this ecosystem, and we're very, very honored to be a part of that. The Ministry of Culture was established in 2019 by Royal Decree Under the Ministry of Culture, there are 11 cultural commissions, each of which is servicing a cultural sector. Of course, the visual arts is one of them. We are a very young entity as a commission, having really come into existence in the summer of 2020, when I had the great honor of joining my colleagues and to become a part of the Visual Arts Commission and to start to really define the roadmap of what the Visual Arts Commission will do, how that strategy will be defined, and how we can start to drive our engagement and our support for all of the different practitioners that are here in Saudi Arabia. Despite our short history of existence, we are very, very happy to be able to say that we are now at the stage of launching many of our initiatives, and you'll be hearing about quite a few of them in the coming months and weeks. But all of which are, of course, designed to be working towards empowering and providing support to Saudi Arabia's art scene and bringing our initiatives to life in service of each and every one of you and the artistic community of Saudi Arabia. Now, yes, good. But I think we can start the conversation with why. Why visual arts? Why are visual arts important? And they say that visual arts are a mirror of our times. And I honestly do fully believe in this. A nation's art scene is a reflection of its people, their experiences, and their stories, past, present, and future. And we are here as the Visual Arts Commission to celebrate that, to give that a greater ability to reach wider audiences and to support all of those efforts that are in place. And therefore, we fully understand the importance of being representatives of all of the different practitioners in the visual arts sector. We spent a lot of time speaking to many of you to understand your stories, your experiences, and to understand the journeys that you as practitioners have taken in your practices, in order to develop a roadmap that will help us to serve you and the art world in Saudi Arabia in the coming years. We have considered the different timelines that are required to activate many of the things that we hope to activate, the different levels of maturity to many of the that already are in existence, with many of the exciting processes that are already on ground, and to think about each and every one of the different entities that is operating within the visual arts system already in Saudi Arabia, whether private business, whether artist, whether practitioner of other form, non-for-profit entity, and all of the different organizations that are truly doing wonders today. So on the basis of all of these considerations, we have identified a vision and a mission for the Visual Arts Commission. And we will use this vision and mission to serve as the foundation for all that we aspire to do to serve the art community in the coming years. So what does that mean? We, as a Visual Arts Commission, have defined our vision as being a prominent regional visual arts hub that elevates local arts appreciation, provides unparalleled growth opportunity for homegrown talent, and empowers our practitioners internationally with an inclusive national spirit. What does that mean? That means we want to do everything we can to empower you as the practitioner, to understand your needs and to help bring life to all of that, either in partnership with the existing entities and other active participants in the ecosystem, or fill the gaps if they need filling, or better understand how we can be a part of your story, to create our story together, of course. But how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by enabling an organic visual arts movement in Saudi Arabia, by supporting community expression, promoting dialogue through varied engagement opportunities, and by acting as a catalyst for a creative, sustainable economy. This mission and this vision are going to inform the roadmap that we will follow to deliver on all that we hope to do as the Visual Arts Commission to service the visual arts community in Saudi Arabia. And in order to go about this and to put practical maybe terms to this, we really again spent a lot of time talking to each and every one of you, and we defined 5 main areas or pillars, we call them pillars, that will form the foundation of everything that we hope to do in the coming years. The next slides will maybe touch upon each of these 5 areas. But before we go into those 5 areas, maybe it will be interesting to understand how did we arrive at these 5 areas. And again, this really is a process that had at the heart of it the practitioner and the needs of the practitioner. So every thought process started with you. Real people experiencing the visual arts world in Saudi Arabia, your stories, your experiences, and how we can help to work with you for a better and brighter future. We spent a lot of time considering your journeys and how these journeys prepare you for the future. What that set of experiences has looked like over your journey, from education to exposure, to experimenting and discovering, to practicing, to communicating, and to engaging, and the need for all of this to coexist in a meaningful way and be sustainable. So, of the 5 areas, this is maybe the first. Knowledge, skills, and access to references as sources of inspiration. Where does this begin? I mean, if we think about an exposure to art, this begins in a very early moment in time. And we would like to really focus on 3 big areas that will help drive this first pillar. First, raising awareness around visual arts from early years and early ages, and encouraging creativity as a way of thinking, problem solving, and of course expression. Very important. Secondly, we want to think about careers and how we can support lifelong learning, the various opportunities that come with that, for emerging and establishing artists and different practitioners, and all of the different programs that can be activated, whether workshops, short courses, different opportunities that allow for professional dialogue and exchange, how we can work together to really elevate the discourse of what's happening in the visual arts world. Thirdly, it's really important that we talk to each other. Visual arts is a language, it's a universal language. How can we make sure this universal language is heard and experienced by all? We want to make sure, as a commission, that we are increasing the opportunities for exchange, increasing the opportunities for dialogue, and for sharing this global language between local and global practitioner, how that debate and creative conversation maybe can create a greater understanding of all that we are, all that we represent, and all that we want to share with the world. So that's number 1. Number 2 is infrastructure. Now, this is, of course, something that we've heard a lot about. We understand that there are challenges. We understand that there are exciting opportunities, and we look forward to working towards finding solutions towards these challenges. We've heard from you that there is a greater need for affordable studio space, for example, that there is a greater need for materials and access to them, quality materials, operational services. We look forward to working with you to finding these solutions and to activating them as months and weeks and years go on. We also understand the need for diverse, active businesses. These businesses are going to support each and every one of us in this universe that we call the visual arts universe, whether we're talking about fine art, transport, and shipping, whether we're talking about fine art handling, whether we're talking about conservators or lighting technicians, or all of the people that have a true and important skill to contribute to giving us a 360-degree engagement with the visual arts. This is very important. But this is, of course, not to say that there are not already efforts on the ground. There are, and they're doing great things. And we want to work celebrating those efforts and to complement those efforts and to really find ways to stitch these efforts together to solve some of these maybe gaps that exist and that we've heard about from each and every one of you. Number 3, every arts community needs a market. Commercial, not everyone, maybe this is sometimes a little bit of a taboo conversation, but commercial engagement is important. Now, how are we going to really celebrate the different efforts that are happening that are going to support artists, galleries, and other art-related businesses? I think these businesses and these different engagements really do a lot to not only nurture artists, but to bring collectors together, to bring patrons together, to really amplify the voice of what's happening in Saudi Arabia in the visual arts. And we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to provide support in this arena, looking at what exists, what opportunities there are for maybe plugging holes or filling gaps for future growth. Again, always thinking about sustainable and organic engagement. Very important. Connecting and engaging with the art world locally and internationally is similarly critical. How can we as a commission make sure that we are thoughtfully and honestly communicating both inside and outside the kingdom to each other, but also regionally and internationally, so that we reach the widest possible audience and help to grow that awareness around the incredible talent that already exists in Saudi Arabia, the incredible talent that has existed for a long time. The visual arts world is not new. It's been here for decades. We want to celebrate that. We want to make sure these voices are heard and their stories are told. And we want to make sure that that art history, the art history of Saudi Arabia, features within the pantheon of a global art history. Ours is, it's unique, it's special. We are the seat of so much global cultural heritage and history. Let's amplify that. And we very much want to be a part of that process to service the arts community, growing that awareness, that engagement, and that appreciation. Of course, to do this, there are lots of events. And again, I'm not talking about events today because we are very young. There will be some exciting announcements. This is a teaser in the coming weeks, days, and months. Stay tuned, please. But how are we going to do this? This will be through marquee events, public art, different projects that we have, inshallah, coming up around the kingdom that will allow for this exposure, this dialogue, and this engagement. Now, that doesn't mean everything has to be, let's say, run by the commission. We're also looking at community engagement. The community is important. We need to hear from the community. We need to work with the community. We need to allow the community, children, all kinds of different parts of our neighborhoods and our different regions to be a part of this process and to be a part of celebrating the visual arts language of Saudi Arabia. And lastly, and this is very important, sustainability. Sustainability and long-term development. How can we help to make sure that this is not a flash in the pan? We are looking at the long term. We want this to be here for you forever, inshallah. So how do we do this? We need to look at the regulatory framework. We need to look at what is here and what's great and what's amazing. We need to understand maybe what needs a little bit of adjustment and what's missing. And how can we start to slowly but surely work on improving all of these different things so that we can create a brighter, better future for all of the different practitioners, all of the different people that are working within the visual arts system, and all of the different people that will one day also be a part of this arts system. It's not just about today, it's about tomorrow, and the day after, and the year after, and the year after, and the decade after, and so on. So again, on this front, hopefully there will be some interesting announcements in the coming, not too distant future that will be a part of this fifth pillar, let's say. And then lastly, and this is not really a formal point, but I thought I'd share this. This was something that I really enjoyed receiving. In late 2020, when as a commission we had just started to work on our strategy, so this is 1 year ago, literally, we launched a survey, and the survey was shared across different practitioners asking for their input. We wanted to hear not only from people that we were able to reach because we knew them through conversation, but from people we didn't know, to make sure that we heard the voices of as many different parts of this visual arts community that we could hear from. And this survey asked a number of different questions, some technical, some not technical. But one of the questions was to ask for the impressions of the different people that were responding about the visual arts world. And this is a sort of a word cloud, we'll call it, of what those words were. And some of them are obvious, and we're happy to see them there. But some of them I pulled out as being really inspirational to me. Of course, the bigger the word, the more often we heard it. But if you look around in the word cloud, you'll see things like, of course, there are practice-based words like art, drawing, photography, and so on. But alongside those words are hopeful words, words that point to the future, where we're all going together, hand in hand. Culture, new, talent, authenticity, spirit, innovation, ambition, diverse, enable, future, education. And I'm going to end with this last one, soul. And this to me was really a very powerful thing to see. This is the voice of what people are thinking today. And this is what we as a commission want to build on, to be able to serve you as practitioners and serve the entire community, and inshallah take us forward to whatever comes next. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina, for your greatly informative presentation. صراحة يعني جهود واضحة للهيئة في دعم وتعزيز الفنون البصرية وتمكين ممارسيها ومحترفيها وهواتها أيضا لتقديم وإنتاج الأعمال الفنية اللي لا شك ستثري المشهد للفنون البصرية. أما الآن لإثراء المحتوى وخلق تجارب جديدة ومبادرات ملهمة، يسعدني أن أرحب بالأستاذة فرح أبوشليح مدير متحف إثراء، فلتتفضل مشكورة إلى المنصة.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm very happy to be here today. First of all, thank you, Dina, for that wonderful talk. Honestly, it was great to see all of the efforts that are happening in terms of what you're doing, and I look forward to further collaboration, inshallah. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about the King Abdulaziz Center for World Culture in Dhahran, which is our landmark initiative that we have started longer than a decade at this point. So before going into it, I'll leave you with a video that will give you a great introduction, better than I can, about everything that we do. And then slowly I'll take you through the programs and our objectives. The clicker is right here. Okay.
في تنمية العقول المبدعة والخلاقة.
أسعى بلادكم لتطوير حاضرها وبناء مستقبلها، نمضي قدما في طريق التنمية والتحديث والتطوير المستمر.
وهم الطاقة الحقيقية والقوة الحقيقية لتحقيق هذه الرؤية، وهي أهم ميزة بالنسبة لدى السعودية هي الطاقة الشبابية اللي فيها.
يسرني الإعلان عن البرنامج الوطني لإثراء المحتوى الإبداعي والثقافي.
نفس الأرض اللي انطلقت منها طاقة ساهمت في نهضة المملكة أو ساهمت في نهضة صناعات عالمية على مستوى العالم، يكون هذا المكان اللي يشهد انطلاقة لنوع ثاني من الطاقة اللي تعتمد على طاقة البشر، على نشر المعرفة والثقافة، تحفيز الإبداع، التواصل الحضاري الثقافي.
ما سيقوم به مركز إثراء من تشجيع صناعة الأفلام والسينما في المملكة العربية السعودية. كل اللي أقدر أقوله في الحقيقة إني شكرا، وإني فخور إنه الصرح هذا الشامل في بلدي.
So that gives you a great introduction to what we're going to be going into, inshallah. And of course, to just set the scene, Ithra in itself is a landmark, and we would be nothing without our building, but at the same time, we would be nothing without the talent and the people that we collaborate with. And a lot of those people are in this room today, so thank you for everyone who has contributed to what we have done and what we will do in the future, inshallah. So to start off, we would like to contribute to a future where the kingdom is a beacon of knowledge and creativity, and we will make a tangible and positive impact on human development by inspiring passion for knowledge, creativity, and cross-cultural engagement. So I'll give you a little bit of a history about the center, because we actually started a long time before the center began. We wanted to have our programs run and inspire the people even before the building started. And you can go through here, but the actual program, the first program we actually had was the Ithra Knowledge Program in 2012. And that focused heavily on art as well. And Nora is here today, and she actually worked on that program, which was a great program to host the first Van Gogh exhibit that we had in the kingdom. It was an artwork. So to tell you about the center, we have a library that has more than 500,000 publications inside, a cinema, a children's museum, which is the first children's museum in the kingdom. The Idea Lab, this is our innovation hub where basically ideas come to life and people go and they create it from literally scratch. We have our archives that hosts the Ithra's and Aramco's history, as well as items from the kingdom. The theater, where we have a 900-seat internationally standard theater where we've hosted more than 40 performances so far. The Knowledge Tower is where all of our programs happen, so it's about 16 floors of workshop spaces and talks, etc. The museum, which hosts 5 galleries, including the Great Hall, and the energy exhibit, which is actually in a separate space, but also is part of the center in general. So how do we go about our programming, and what do we do to ensure that everything that we're doing impacts the community in a way that we seek it to or that we want it to? So we created these pillars. And of course, as you know, when you create pillars, you cannot actually label one program under one pillar, so there's a lot of mixing happening. But what we try to do is create these as a standard for our programming and direction, so we keep these in mind at all times. Knowledge, creativity, community, culture, and art. I'll go briefly through them one by one, and then I'll focus more on the art and what we have contributed in the kingdom. So knowledge. Part of the knowledge, we have had more than 1,500 workshops. We also host programs like PyCon, which is an annual conference focused on science and art. And also we have the Learning Beyond Conference, which aims to train practitioners and enable them to view new methods in learning. Creativity, and here I'll focus a little bit on Tanween, which is Ithra's annual creativity season. And this is a program where we've hosted, which is hopefully in its 5th edition next year. We started in 2018 with the theme disruption, and then play, the new next when COVID hit. And then 2021 we had tools, which we ended the program in December. These are part of the multiple, there's a huge list of programming that goes on, and the creation is amazing. And basically the outcomes are so much fun, and at the same time incredibly artistic. I'll show you a small video here about This is Tanween 2019 when the theme was play.
And I'm very glad that Tanween is addressing this theme to help us think and go back to our origins, where play is a pillar in our growth, in our development.
The playfulness is learning. And that's invaluable to a society, to not just the kingdom, but to the whole region, to the whole world, for more and more people to believe that and follow that kind of learning is incredible.
The culture, the sound, the beauty, the excitement, it's an adventure of a lifetime.
So that was Tanween, that was only one of the years, and there's more on our website. The Creative Solutions Program is a program that was also created to help designers, architects, engineers create their ideas out of having little resources. We provide them with the resources that they need, and we also link them to a subject matter expert in the field. We've had 2,000 submissions last year. We selected 30 candidates, and 5 out of the 26 groups move into the development stage. So just to give you an idea about what kind of programs they create, one of the programs was an augmented reality application that we would use in our museums. So this would make art more accessible to the public and therefore more meaningful to them and impactful as well. And also we realized that introducing technology in our exhibits is a very important way to engage with our public. So the more diverse the technology we bring, this helps create that as well. So we also focus a lot on volunteerism, and we have, I think, the biggest platform, if I'm not mistaken, for volunteerism in the kingdom. After Al-Hajj wal-Umrah, volunteers for Hajj wa Umrah. We have a lot of outreach programs focusing on different target audiences, and we bring in different subject matter expertise depending on the topic as well. For culture, something to focus on here is that we also try to bring in world culture from outside of the kingdom. We hosted the Cultural Days in 2019, which was a huge success, and we boasted an audience of 45,000 people, and it was an amazing outcome, to be honest. It's something that really drove us to try to bring in more international programs and collaborations. So those are the pillars in general. I wanted to give you another video that would tell you just a wrap-up of 2021 in numbers. This is going to be a quick one, inshallah, and then we'll move forward to the art. This is not the right video. It should be fun. This is actually the video that focuses on bridges, which is a program that we had in 2016 to 2019. This program focused on bringing or raising awareness about talent, local talent internationally, and we focused on the US for the first batch. So this gives you an idea about the program that we had in the US. We had about 147 different works from local Saudi artists who contributed. And these are some of the publications that were distributed through the exhibitions that have occurred. We also had a residency program in New York from 2016, and we're very happy that we have a beautiful list of artists here who have contributed and are now doing amazingly, alhamdulillah, and with more to come in the future, inshallah. There was also an artist residency program in the kingdom where we hosted different researchers, artists that collaborated with local artists on research papers and artworks as well. And these are some of the partners that we had in the US, as well as hosting the London Design Biennale, Lul Wal Ahmoud's artwork. And also we had a program in Seoul with art exhibitions, live performances, cultural talks, film screenings, which was actually curated by Rafi. So this is the Ithra in video numbers, but I think I'll skip through this one because there's not enough time. Okay, and to focus on the art a little bit. Okay, so as you know, everything that we've been through already includes art in what we do. But I'll focus here on a few programs where we try to introduce different tools and platforms for local artists to engage with, and also what the Ithra has contributed with in terms of bringing in world art to the kingdom. So to give you a background, the museum has hosted about 16 exhibitions so far. We'll start at the Da Vinci exhibition, which was the first time we actually hosted any Da Vinci artwork inside of the kingdom. And this was a collaboration with the Biblioteca library in Milan. Okay. The Edvard Munch Landscapes of the Soul exhibition. And this exhibition spoke about Edvard Munch. It was a solo exhibition that we hosted, and we worked with Munch Museum to be able to curate an exhibition for our local audience here in the kingdom. So as you can see, the different phases of what we went through, and then in the end, this artwork right here was actually an artwork created by one of the artists that work at the center, Kuman Musalli, which was gifted to the director of the museum at the end of the program. I would also like to shed light on Dialogue in the Dark, which was an exhibition that we hosted that focuses on introducing the, let's say, the participant into a new perspective of looking into things. And to do that, we had to work with blind facilitators, and we had to train them. And that was a beautiful process, to be honest. And right now, we actually are very, very happy to say that 3 of the facilitators are avid Ithra Art Society members, and they create beautiful artwork. We also hosted the COVID-19 exhibition as part of our COVID response. This was a very successful exhibition, alhamdulillah, and it actually won an award for the digital exhibitions at Marcom. So we received about 5,000 submissions actually, and a lot of them were very interesting. The idea was that you should submit something that's an object that you have related to throughout COVID. And I urge everyone to go to the COVID-19 exhibition webpage to see the results, which are very interesting and enlightening. We also hosted the first sustainability exhibition in the kingdom, and we focused on different topics about sustainability, climate change, and all of the challenges that we're facing, but in a very introductory way so that we don't bombard the audience, let's say, with information. So we wanted to make it very artistic. The Ithra Art Prize, which is why we're here today as well. I hope you all saw it, which is the art piece that we have in the Ithra Art Prize room in the Biennale. The artist Nadia was this year's winner, but I'll give you a brief history of the artworks that have been awarded so far. Ayman Zadani, which was our first winner. Danya Saleh, which was our second winner, and her artwork is currently being exhibited in Ithra. Ayman's will soon, inshallah, and Fahad bin Naif as well. This year, we collaborated with Diriyah Biennale and with the artist Nadia Kabilinki to create this beautiful art piece. It's a 20-meter long artwork that talks about the state of the economy today when it comes to travel, but as well as how the entire community has reacted to COVID. We also have an open call for emerging artists, and this is, hopefully we're going to be announcing the third iteration of it soon. The first one was for Zamankan in 2019, and the second one was Wala Fadl, Seeing and Perceiving 2021. And for my last, let's say, example, I would like to do a little deep dive into the Art of Orientation exhibition. So the Art of Orientation exhibition is a perfect example of how we try to create 360 programs in what we do. And we've come as close as possible with this exhibition, actually. So the Art of Orientation exhibition is an exhibition that we worked on I want to say we started about 4 years ago, and it came to life last year. It opened in February 2021, and it will be on view until, until October, inshallah. So a lot of contributors that are very worthy to note, and of course a lot of collaborations. There was a production that we made as well that we're selling online. But what's important to note here is that part of the exhibition, we created a conference, which was the first Islamic art conference to be hosted in the kingdom. And the focus was on the mosque, innovation in object, form, and function, which was the topic of the exhibition as well. And we worked with Art Jamil, and we worked with the national museums and other collaborators to create the Art of the Mosque exhibition, which we are very proud of because everything was commissioned for the center, and we were able to reach out to some communities that were needed to be reached out to, I would say, and able to do this, which, there's a whole documentary that's going to be about it, inshallah, that you'll see, but it was a very proud moment for us. And part of that was also the Tanween challenges. So there was cross-collaboration between the components. And this was a Tanween challenge that was announced last year. And these are some of the results which are also currently being exhibited in the center. I'll leave you with this video about the art of orientation.
بعض الكلمات اللي ممكن أختصر فيها ليش هذا المعرض فريد. القطع اللي موجودة كلها، كل واحدة فيها تحوي قصة وتحمل تاريخ منفرد وفريد بحد ذاته.
My main objective when we create this skill model is to make sure that the audience or the viewers is able to get the historical value, the architecture value of it, and then leave a lasting memory. The first thing we do, we determine the size. After that, we had to draw the detail, and we also use a SketchUp drawing, 3D SketchUp drawing, to form up the whole entire mosque. There are about 700 to 800 different parts that we have fabricated. And we have to assemble all this to form up this particular skill model.
طبعاً العشر مساجد هذه تعطي انطباع عن تنوع الإسلام بشكل أو بآخر في مناطق العالم، تناغمه والطريقة إنه كيف يعكس حضارة كل مكان يوجد فيه. القطع الأثرية أو المجموعة الأثرية اللي موجودة عندنا المكونة من 116 قطعة تقريباً، أجمل ما فيها أنها فيها تنوع من ناحية التعاون ما بين إثراء وما بين المؤسسات، منها العالم ومنها المحلي أو الوطني. التحديات الجميلة اللي واجهناها في تركيب المعرض أن إحدى القطع كانت التنور اللي هي تقريباً يعني زي الثريا، وزنها ثقيل جداً. التحدي اللي انخلق في وسط التركيب أن الفريق أصر على أنه يكون فيه إنارة داخل هذا التنور. الزوار دائماً إذا جو من زاوية هذا التنور أو هذه الثريا دائماً فيه انبهار عالي. بعد ما مريت في المعرض لا يمكن أن أنظر للمساجد بنفس النظرة مرة أخرى.
So as part of our programming and part of the mission of what we do is that we are also a collecting institution, and we are very, it's very important for us to be able to grow our collection, not just for the sustainability of Ithra, but also for the kingdom as a whole. And so that's why we see this as the age of investing in people. And also, I would like to say, investing in content production. That's something that we focus on a lot at the center as well, and not just general content, Arabic content as well, because unfortunately it is dying out. So with that, I leave you with this presentation, and I leave the floor to you. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. Thank you.
شكرا فرح على هذا العرض الثري اللي حقيقة يليق بإثراء. حضورنا الكريم، بناخذ الآن 15 دقيقة استراحة قصيرة and enjoy your break. نفس المكان. We expect having you back with us after 15 minutes. مرحبا، أجدد الترحيب بكم في اليوم الأول من منتدى الحراك الفني المحلي، ونستكمل برنامجنا مع داليا موسى، مدير عام الثقافة في هيئة تطوير بوابة الدرعية، لها عرض مفصل عن الثقافة والفنون من منظور هيئة تطوير الدرعية، فلتتفضل مشكورة إلى المنصة.
يعطيك العافية. Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Dalya Mousa. I'm the Director of Culture at DGDA, which is Diriyah Gate Development Authority. First of all, I would like to thank the DBF team who are really behind this art forum today that we really needed in the industry, and for gathering us all in this platform. We hope this brief introduction gives you a taste of what we do at DGDA and a sense of where we're all going. As you may know, DGDA or Diriyah Gate is a hugely exciting and ambitious project which will open in phases across the coming years. Therefore, what I would like to present today is an overview of the development as a whole and a brief introduction to the art and culture work at DGDA. To start with, I would like to introduce my colleague, Abdelmahsen El-Mbeddel, from our strategy team, who will give you just a brief about the development, and then I'll walk you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dalya. Thank you, DBF team, for this opportunity, honestly, to speak about Diriyah as an overview. Then, before leaving the floor to Dalya to talk about the art section. First of all, I would like to introduce what is Diriyah. Diriyah basically is the capital of the first Saudi state, and it is where the ambition of the kingdom first started. It is the birthplace of many kings and heroes as well, and the home of many historic sites that are relevant to the Saudi history. One important fact to mention here that Diriyah is not a modern city. Diriyah is an ancient city that reflects the essence of how Saudi Arabia came about. Moving quickly to the timeline of Diriyah, where it was founded by Man al-Mraidi in 1446. After that, it went through very important milestones, such as the establishment of the first Saudi state, the expansion in Najd, in Al-Ahsa, and in Al-Hijaz as well, until the whole unification of the Arabian Peninsula during that time when Diriyah was the capital of this Saudi state. In 1818, Diriyah went under a siege by the Ottoman, and during the siege, there was many historical assets that got destroyed in this period. During the time after that, nobody paid attention, honestly, to Diriyah until 1981, when the custodian of the two holy mosques, His Majesty King Salman, led the redevelopment of Diriyah. And those efforts was crowned in the year of 2010, when Al-Taref was registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And of course, in 2017 was the establishment of DGDA, and in 2019 there was the Royal Inaugural Celebration of Diriyah Gate. Moving to the DGDA Board of Directors, we are very lucky to have the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, as chairman of the board, as well as a membership of His Highness Prince Dr. Abdulaziz bin Ayaf as a board member, His Highness Prince Badr bin Farhan, the Minister of Culture, as a board member, His Excellency Dr. Fahad Smari as a board member, His Excellency Ibrahim al-Sultan as a board member, His Excellency Fahad al-Rashid as a board member, and the General Secretary of the board, His Excellency Ahmed al-Khatib. So basically what I want to elaborate on what do we do in DGDA, or what we are mandated to do. What we are mandated to do is segmented into 4 primary pillars basically. The first pillar is to preserve the tangible and intangible assets that Diriyah has. The tangible assets, of course, such as the historical sites, and the intangible assets such as the history and the heritage, the great culture and tradition have. And from the name of the authority, we are mandated to develop 3 primary projects. The first one is Diriyah Gate, which I'll deep dive in a minute about. The second one is Wadi Hanifa, and the third one is Wadi Sfar project. The third pillar of what we do is to regulate more than 190 square kilometer, and basically the purpose of this pillar is to make sure that the project itself does not have any discrepancy from the area surrounding the project. So we are regulating the area around the project itself. And of course, all of these efforts will conclude into celebrating the community, the identity, and the rich culture and history. This is just to give you a glimpse of the geographical boundaries. The green bill on the right side is Diriyah Gate project on over than 10 square kilometer, and the left area, the yellow banana, is Wadi Sfar project on over than 60 square kilometer, and the white area basically is our supervisory area, and where we will not develop anything. It's just regulation matters. Moving to Diriyah Gate project. So what makes Diriyah Gate project special, and what is the value proposition of Diriyah Gate project? The first thing is that it has Treif UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it is basically a picture that it's enlarged 100 times from Treif. The second thing is that it's a mixed-use development project, so there will be multiple offerings such as retail, hospitality, so on and so forth. So it's a mixed-use development project. The third thing that, which is very important to mention here, that the whole project will be designed in a unique Najdi traditional urban design. And of course, we are very lucky that the Wadi Hanifa project is surrounding the Diriyah Gate project, so it will give it a stunning view overlooking the Wadi itself. And another fact to mention, that the Diriyah Gate project is within the city. It's not a far away area to reach. It's 20 minutes away from every important place within the project. So before ending my section, I'll leave you with a quick video just to imagine how life will be at Diriyah Gate, inshallah.
Thank you, Abdul Mahsen. That was a very informative presentation. I would like to really pause and let's all think why we're all here today in Diriyah. And the answer is Treif. Treif is the foundation of the kingdom. It's the birthplace of the first Saudi states in the 18th century. Tref is also the heart of the hugely diverse cultural landscape, range from the archaeological story of the astonishing spot to the diversity of our flora and fauna, and from the architectural evolution of this resonant site to the region's historic customs and living traditions, which we have pledged to sustain and revive. Tref, and I want to remind you that Tref is also a World Heritage Site, and this means its history, its culture, and its significance are all of a global importance. It's part of the elite group, the exceptional heritage sites, which in Saudi we currently have only 6 sites recognized by UNESCO. And now let's go back to DGDA. I'm going to talk about DGDA and Diriyah Gate's cultural offers and how it will cater to the Saudi and cultural ecosystem. As a major new development in the kingdom, we are aligned to the ambitions of the Vision 2030 in thinking about culture as a way of life, culture as for economic growth, and culture for exchange. But all the while, we remain connected to the particular national significance of Diriyah itself as the first cultural capital of the kingdom. So Diriyah Gate Diriyah Gate have 5 asset classes, from heritage and culture to education to hospitality, lifestyle and retail, and lastly, live and work. And please note, with this development of this size and this scope, some of the details are liable to change in the coming years. So keep this in mind as we go through the presentation. Let's zoom in our cultural assets that are most relevant to today's forum. With the development of Diriyah's master plan, we will have the privilege of hosting a range of cultural assets in Diriyah Gate, spanning traditional and contemporary creative practice. So talking about Tref World Heritage Site, cultural museums, cultural academies, cultural district, and most importantly, public art commissions across the master plan and 3 project spaces. And as you all know, culture plays a vital role in our lives. It reflects our identity and shapes our future. Our mission is to create the best-in-class cultural platform that connects Diriyah's past with its present and future. Working with and for the local community, we will strengthen Diriyah's creative ecosystem across cultural subsectors in alignment with the Ministry of Culture's 16 streams and celebrate them nationally, regionally, and globally. And now we'll just give you a glimpse of our activities that will take place in 4 cultural pillars. So art and culture, intangible heritage, learning, and collaboration. So when we talk about art and culture, that includes visual art, public art, performance art, commissions, art collection, and many more. And when it comes to intangible heritage, also documentation, traditional arts and craft, multimedia, urban intervention, and more. Learning, so we're talking about digital libraries and archives, in-house expertise, art education, capacity building, and traditional arts and crafts schools, and more. In terms of collaborations, which is the 4th pillar, We have international, regional, and local partnership as well as entrepreneurship initiatives. So, and before we jump into Diriyah public art, so this year we will be announcing an extensive culture program that will include immersive theater, a traditional arts and craft learning program, short film series, publication, exhibitions, and much more. And now, sorry, next slide. And now it's my pleasure to give you a glimpse of an existing project that started in the year 2021 and that has an exciting and ambitious future. So launching Diriyah as the culture capital of the Middle East 2030, DGDA partnered with the Ministry of Culture and Diriyah Biennale Foundation on a series of multidisciplinary culture programs, art and culture programs, that focus on the reviving of the culture and heritage of Diriyah in a contemporary aspect. Next. And I would like to introduce two exciting art commissions by local artists to support and promote our local creatives, focusing on Diriyah from a historical and cultural perspective, using local architectural materials. So let's experience together the first work by the artist Hamoud Al-Atawi through this video about Nora pillars.
استلهمت عملي الفني من خلال الأعمدة المتبقية في حي طريف، سواء في القصور الطينية القديمة أو في البيوت الطينية. التقنية المستخدمة تقنية الرامد إيرث أو التربة المدكوكة، هي بالأساس عبارة عن طبقات مدكوكة، فأنا أتكلم عن كل القصص والذكريات المتراكمة على مدى هذه السنين في أرضنا، في جزيرتنا. بالنسبة للنورة ودخولها في العمل، تذكرت عزوة الملك عبد العزيز، عزوة المشهورة أخو نورا، وكيف ربط النساء بالأعمدة بالنورة.
And now, the second art commission by the artist Rashid Al-Shashai, Takween.
طبعا المبحث اللي أنا أناقشه في عملي هذه المرة في بينالي الدرعية يدمج بين ثقافة وتقنية الضوء والاستضاءة من ناحية، وبين موروث أو خلينا نقول خامة مستخدمة في البناء التقليدي من آلاف السنين، وكانت ركن أساسي في نمط العيش في الدرعية وفي كل الواحات الموجودة في الجزيرة العربية. العمل هو زي نصب تاريخي له 4 بوابات كناية عن ال4 الأئمة في الدولة السعودية الأولى، وركائز تثبيت هذه الدولة من خلال الأئمة الموجودين في الدرعية. في عودة اليوم إلى الإرث الثقافي وتطوير هذا الإرث الثقافي ليصبح أسلوب حياة ونمط معيشة مختلف عن أي مكان اليوم أنت تزوره في العالم.
So in addition to the art commission, we introduced a public program that includes art and culture talks, workshops, a series of storytelling sessions, as well as school visits program and Diriyah local volunteer program that we will take with us in Q1 2022. And last but not least, so building on the success of the existing commissions, DGDA is soon to announce a full public art program that will include large number of public art commissions across these Diriyah's master plan, as well as public art residency. I hope that I have given you a good understanding so far of where are we heading in Diriyah Gate with regards to our contribution to the art and culture ecosystem in the kingdom. We have huge ambitions for the activation of the sites, which we will be announcing in this coming month. So please stay tuned, and thank you so much.
شكرا داليا وعبد المحسن على هذا العرض الممتع يوضح استراتيجية هيئة تطوير بوابة الدرعية لدعم الثقافة والفنون كجزء أساسي ومهم من ثقافة المكان وتاريخه وأيضا مستقبله. ولا ننسى اختيار الدرعية عاصمة للثقافة العربية لعام 2030 نظير رمزيتها الخالدة على الصعيد الثقافة محليا وإقليميا. والآن حضورنا الكريم نختتم برنامجنا لليوم، اليوم الأول من منتدى الحراك الفني المحلي بعرض ممتع بعنوان رحلة متواصلة من الإلهام المستمر من مدير عام إدارة الفنون والإبداع في الهيئة الملكية لمحافظة العلا الأستاذة نورا الدبل، فلتتفضل مشكورة إلى المنصة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم نورا الدبل، مدير عام إدارة الفنون والإبداع في الهيئة الملكية لمحافظة العلا. أولاً حابة أشكر الدرعية بينالي لاستضافتنا اليوم في هذا المنتدى المهم اللي يدعونا إلى التحاور والتعرف على برامج الهيئات والجهات الخاصة والعامة في المملكة. ببدأ بمقدمة عن العلا. العلا تقريباً تقع 1000 كيلومتر شمال غرب مدينة الرياض. مساحتها تقريباً 22,000 كيلومتر مربع، وهو مكان تاريخي احتفى على مدى السنين بتاريخ الطبيعة والبشرية. فيها تقريباً 7000 سنة من التواجد البشري والحضارات، وموطن أول موقع يصنف من قبل يونسكو اللي هو موقع الحجر. رؤية العلا تشمل أماكن أثرية في خيبر وتيمة وغيرها. زي ما ذكرت هي منطقة تاريخية مهمة، ويمكن البعض اللي زاروها يعني الطابع أو الشعور اللي يجي، أنا تقريباً شخصياً كأول زيارة لسه في بالي لسه تفاصيل المكان. طبيعة المكان جداً فريدة وتدعو للتفكر والتأمل والاستلهام. طبعاً على مدار السنين الإبداع تم متواصل، سواء بالبداية على المنقوشات اللي على الحجر إلى اليوم وما يقوم به الفنانون أو الفنانين المعاصرين في العلا. طبعاً هناك تنوع كثير في مناطق العلا، وفيها نظام متناغم كامل. فنشوف الطبيعة تتغير ما بين الواحة الثقافية، الحجر، دادان، كل مكان له ملمس، له طريقة معينة في حتى في الاركتكتشر أو الهندسة في هذه المنطقة. هنا sorry معلش هنا نشوف يمكن سلسلة التاريخ اللي مرت به العلا على مر الأزمنة، ويعني يمكن واحدة من المقولات اللي جدا أثرت فيني كانت من فنان نعمل معه في العلا، لما قال كل فن هو فن معاصر، لأنه لما صنع للآن. فلازم يعني نفكر لما نشوف الفن المعاصر اليوم هو استمرارية لما قامت به البشرية في السابق. أوكي. أهدافنا طبعاً عرض الفن المعاصر ومشاركة إرث العلا الإبداعي، تقديم وجهات نظر فنية متنوعة من خلال أساليب فنية فيها امتزاج بين طبيعة العلا وجبالها الملهمة، خلق روابط للتعاون الإبداعي بين الثقافات المختلفة والجهات المختلفة أيضاً، ومد جسور التواصل في البرامج اللي نقدمها، والمحافظة على الإنتاج الثقافي في العلا. في عدة برامج بحكي عنها بشكل مفصل في العرض. طبعاً في 6 ركائز يعتمد عليها الفن والاقتصاد الإبداعي عندنا، منها منتجات التصميم التجارية للتجارة الثقافية، وعندنا مدرسة الديرة اللي هي أول مدرسة بنات في العلا مهتمة بصناعة المنتجات الحرفية اللي لها طابع معاصر. استقطاب وصقل مجتمع محلي ودولي مبدع للعلا. إنشاء البرامج القائمة على الفنون ضمن أجندة على مدار السنة للفنون في العلا. شراكات ومشاريع تعزيز التأثير الفني في العلا. الفن والطبيعة هو يمكن من البرامج المهمة عندنا، اللي هي تجذب إن الفن يكون جزء من الطبيعة ويحاكي الطبيعة اللي حولها، لأن المحيط اللي في العلا مرة كبير يطغي على أي شيء، فمهم أن تكون الأعمال تحاكي وتحاور الطبيعة اللي حولها والمكان الموجودة فيه. والفنون والإبداع عوامل جذب دائمة. عدد سكان العلا تقريباً 45 نسمة، ودورنا اللي هو دورنا معهم جداً مهم من ناحية أغلب البرامج عندنا فيها إدراج وتعاون مع المجتمع بشكل أساسي، لأن لهم دور مهم في البحث، في جمع المعلومات، في مسيرة التواصل الفنية اللي نقوم فيها في العلا. ببدأ هنا بفيديو مبسط يشرح قصص عن مدرسة الديرة اللي زي ما ذكرت هي أول مدرسة للبنات، وهذا هذا الفيديو قام به الفنان معاذ العوفي اللي معنا اليوم. استمتع بالعرض إن شاء الله.
المتوسطة الأولى بالعلا، درست مرحلة متوسطة، وكانت يعني بالنسبة لي المدرسة هذه، لأنه كنت في مبنى في المرحلة الابتدائية مبنى صغير، فلما جينا هنا المدرسة هذه ما شاء الله تبارك الله، بحكم أنها واسعة مفتوحة ما شاء الله من جميع الجهات. الطبيعة فيها كانت فيها حديقة داخل المدرسة، وفيها في الساحات، عندنا الساحة الشمالية والساحة الأمامية. كان يعني مبسوطة أنك المرحلة المتوسطة درست في هذا المدرسة. ابتدائي كان بيت مستأجر مغلق، يعني درسنا فيه، فكان يعني ما في هذا الوسع والساحات اللي موجود في هذا المبنى. عشان كذا لما جيت أنا المرحلة المتوسطة حسيت يعني إنه المكان مرة كان جميل وملهم، يعني كمان نزول الأمطار وخروجنا للساحة مع زميلاتنا مع الطالبات، واستمتاع بمناظر الجبال جلستنا في الحوش هذا على الفرشة البسيطة وبراد الشاي وفطور مع الزميلات الصباح المعلمات له ذكريات جميلة. الغرفة هذه اللي احنا الآن فيها كانت هذه غرفة المعلمات. أتذكر مكتبي كان في هذه الزاوية.
طبعا هي الرسمة كانت مبادرة مو شخصية مني أنا، إلا أنها كانت من مديرة المدرسة ومن المعلمات. فهذا هم طبعا متعايشين في هالبيئة وفي هالمكان، كونهم يطلبوا منك الشيء الجمالي هذا دليل على ذائقتهم وإحساسهم بالجمال، وأنهم يحبوا يعيشوا في مكان فيه لون وفيه جمال. فاختاروني كاسم أقدم هالممارسة الفنية هذه، واحترموها كثير واحتفلوا فيها وحافظوا عليها طيلة الفترة اللي
أذكر زمان لما كنت صغيرة وكنت لسه ما دخلت المدرسة، يمكن عمري 5 سنين، يعني أتذكر هذا الكلام كأنه حلم. فكانوا خالاتي يدرسوا هنا متوسط، فكانوا ياخذوني معاهم، فكنت أنام عندهم، ياخذوني أنام عندهم الصبح عشان أنام عندهم بالليل، عشان الصباح ياخذوني للمدرسة معاهم. أجي معاهم وأنا صغيرة، يعني ما كنت متخيلة إنه في يوم من الأيام أنا راح أجي أدرس في هذه المدرسة. فدرست فيها، فكانت أيام مرة تجنن صراحة، أيام المتوسط. وأيام رمضان كان وقتها دراسة، كان برمضان كنا ندرس، فكنا نطلع السطوح فوق، يطلعونا السطح نصلي فترة الظهر. في القسم الثاني كانت غرفة يمكن أكبر من هذه، كانت للأعمال الفنية، يعني ممكن إنه لو فتحناها ممكن نلاقي فيها شيء من الأعمال الفنية. فكانت جدا رائعة الأعمال الفنية، يعني أتذكر لما كنت أدخل مليانة، يعني الدفعة اللي قبلي واللي قبل اللي قبلي كل أعمالهم موجودة في ذا المكان.
المدرسة أول مدرسة انبنت للبنات، تصميمها أثري وقديم وفيه أشكال هندسية، فيها رسمات المدرسة، في مدربين دربوني أنا في الرسم، شفت لهم رسمات هنا موجودة.
وجيت أول شيء شفت المبنى قبل ما أقدم، كان في معرض وجيت اتفرجت فحسيت اني فعلا تذكرت الايام على قولهم السنين الخوالية، وبدأت ايش استرجع ذكرياتي في هذا المدرسة، وقلت لا، ما المانع اني التحق في احدى الدورات. قدمت فيها واخترت اللي هي دورة النسيج والتطريز، والحمد لله الان لي تقريبا 1.5 شهر مع المشتركات ومستمتعة جدا.
الورش اللي جالسة تصير مرة ممتعة، يعني حتى ما في شرط إنه لازم كل واحد فنان أساساً، إنهم هم جالسين يعلمونا من الصفر، الأساسيات والأدوات كل شيء متوفر، وحتى لو ينقصنا شيء نطلبهم وهم ما بيقصروا. يعني مع توجه الحين منطقة العلا ومع الهيئة الملكية ومع الشيء اللي أنا شايفته الآن قاعد يصير، فزي ما يقولوا قام حظها المدرسة. يعني كانت ما حد كان متخيل لو 1% إنه هذه المدرسة يتم استغلالها أو تفتح مرة ثانية، لأنها تعتبر تراث. يعني المدرسة هذه بحد ذاتها تعتبر تراث قديم، فهي بشكل خاص نقدر نخصصها بين قوسين مدرسة الديرة قام حظها.
طبعا هذا الفيديو جزء من بحث قام فيه الفنان معاذ العوفي عن الإرث البشري المعاصر. والجدير بالذكر أن مدرسة الديرة يمكن الكثير منا يعرف يمكن المدارس ما كانت مرة مهتمة بالفنون في السنين السابقة، بس الجدير بالذكر أن مدرسة الديرة فيها تقريباً غرفتين كاملين مخصصات للفن. ولما قرروا يوسعوا المدرسة في سنة من السنوات كان وسعوها بمبنيين، مبنى كامل لمعرض للفنون، فكان في توجه لإدارة المدرسة في وقتها على دعم الفنون بشكل عام. فإحنا دورنا هنا أن نعيد نحيي هذه المناطق لأن فيها ذكرى جميل للمجتمع ونوفر فيها الدعم اللي يساعد على الإبداع بالفصل التالي للمدرسة بإذن الله. عندنا عدة شراكات الحين نقوم فيها تركز على الحرف مع مدرسة الأمير تشارلز وتركويز ماونتن وعدة شراكات أخرى. نطمح أن تكون مدرسة الديرة مكان لخلق فرص مهنية استثنائية، وعندنا بعض من طلاب المدرسة اليوم already فتحوا بعض الأماكن لبيع منتجاتهم، بعضهم صارت تجيهم فرص لعرض أعمالهم أو تقديم أعمال جديدة، وهي حجر الأساس لما يسمى بحي الفنون، وهي منطقة بتكون تدعم الفنانين والمصممين والحرفيين والمبدعين بشكل عام. طبعاً من البرامج اللي قدمناها برامج للعامة وبرامج للزوار لمنطقة العلا، وكمان برامج متخصصة مدتها من 2 إلى 3 سنوات في تخصص المنسوجات، الخزفيات، صناعة المجوهرات، وكان في تعاون بين مدرسة الديرة ودار بياجي لتصميم بعض القطع. البرنامج الثاني اللي ودي أتكلم عنه اليوم اللي هو عن التصميم، تدخلات التصميم واستوحاء من العلا. والتصميم جزء مهم وأساسي في العمل اللي نقوم فيه. خلال السنوات الماضية تعاوننا مع عدة مصممين رائدين وناشئين لإنتاج بعض القطع، سواء المنتجات اللي نبيعها أو الهدايا، ومن ضمنها الأزياء. وبعض يعني كان في إقبال كثير إنه مجموعة مبدعين أو مصممين يتواصلون معنا بهدف أن عرض أعمالهم، فاكتشفنا أن في مساحة واسعة ممكن تدعو للإلهام، خاصة أنه العلا زي ما ذكرت فيها تنوع. فمثلا الأعمال اللي مستوحاة مثلا من منطقة الواحة مختلفة تماما عن الحرة اللي فيها مثلا البلاك بازلت ولا الخضار والنخل اللي في الواحة. فبدأنا جائزة العلا للتصميم في نوفمبر الماضي، وهي تدعو جميع المصممين سواء السعوديين أو العالميين لتقديم أعمال مختلفة ضمن عدة مجالات. استلمنا تقريبا فوق 400 مشاركة، من ضمنها 200 مشاركة تم تقييمها من قبل لجنة تحكيم مختصة. وأدعوكم أن تشوفون معرض الأعمال حاليا مقام في المهرجان السعودي للتصميم هنا في جاكس، وبإذن الله يوم الأربعاء سيتم الإعلان عن الفائزين بالجوائز. الموضوع الثاني اللي هو عن الفنانين، خطا للإلهام لفناني عصرنا. وطبعا قمنا خلال ال4 سنوات الماضية بعدة برامج يشارك فيها الفنانين في عدة برامج من ضمنها التفاعل مع المجتمع، التفاعل مع الطبيعة زي ما ذكرت في البداية، وقدمنا عدة برامج في هذا المجال بتكلم عنها بالتفصيل في السلايدز الجاية. أول واحدة إقامة العلا الفنية اللي هي تونا انتهينا من الدورة الأولى بعنوان إعادة إحياء الواحة. كان في 6 فنانين أقاموا تقريبا مدة 11 أسبوع في العلا. تم التعاون بينهم وبين مختصين من علماء آثار، علماء نبات، وأيضاً أفراد المجتمع، وكل واحد منهم قدم عمل في نهاية هذه الإقامة. البرنامج الثاني اللي هو صحراء العلا أو ديزرت أكس العلا، وهو معرض فني يقام كل 2 سنين يحاكي الطبيعة ويدعو الفنانين للتأمل بالطبيعة واختيار مكان مخصص لعملهم بحيث أنه يكون في تناغم ما بين العمل والطبيعة المحيطة. أول معرض كان عام 2020 وكان في 14 فنان. بإذن الله ندعو الجميع لحضور النسخة الثانية واللي بيكون افتتاحها يوم فبراير 11 ويضم 15 عمل من ضمنهم سعوديين وعالميين. وهذا فيديو في تيزر عن المعرض القادم.
But this is great. This is phenomenal. This is amazing. It's a very, very beautiful place to compose.
This is such a unique place. There's nothing like it. Every rock, everything you see is just incredibly beautiful, and it's an art form on itself.
I mean, I love the desert as a canvas for sculpture, so it's hard for me to deny if I'm asked, because it's the most beautiful thing you can have for sculptures, actually.
So I think there's always a lot of space for creativity in the desert. There's just so much and endless things that can be done without doing even too much. And I think that's the beauty of it.
There's a sort of humility towards the natural world that I think, we would all benefit from relearning.
I think as far as doing the project in Desert X and in AIUIa, it's the ideal scenario. It's kind of what I imagined for this project, to create this installation where plants are growing in a sort of extreme environment. It's something I've been developing for over 2 years now, and so it's really exciting to see it come to fruition in this sort of ideal environment of the desert.
صحراء العلا لا يشبهها أي صحراء في هذا العالم. كل منظر، كل جهة تلتفت لها في العلا تجد فيها تاريخ، تجد فيها متعة بصرية، مكان ساحر وسيبقى ساحر للأبد.
إن شاء الله نشوفكم في فبراير في معرض هذا العام. طبعا المعرض بيكون جزء من مهرجان العلا للفنون اللي هو مهرجان فيه عدة برامج ومعارض فنية بغطي بعضها بشكل مختصر. قبل ما أنهي العرض عندنا معرض ما يبقى في الأعماق، وهو يركز على دور مقتنيي الفنون. يمكن في السنوات السابقة ما كان في الدعم المتواجد اليوم للفنون، يعني نركز على دور مقتني الفنون في هذاك الوقت. وبإذن الله بيكون هذا المعرض يركز، المعرض الأول يركز على مقتنيات بسمة سليمان، واللي فيها مجموعتها الخاصة من أعمال الفنانين المعاصرين خلال العقدين الماضيين. المعرض بيكون من يعني الكوريتر هي لول والحمود، وبإذن الله بيكون الافتتاح في فبراير. كمان معرض كورتونا أون ذا موف في العلا، بيكون في نسخته الأولى، وبيكون في منطقة حي الفنون اللي ذكرتها سابقا، وهو معرض فوتوغرافي يشمل عدة فنانين سعوديين وعالميين، وهو من الكيوريشن أو قيمي المعرض أريانا رينالدو وخلود بكر. وهذا مختصر عن يمكن يعني على العمل اللي قمنا فيه خلال السنوات الماضية. يعني اكتشفنا أن مثلا يعني أهمية العمل التكاملي ما بين الفنان والمجتمع، ما بين الفنان والمصمم. يعني دائما ندعو للتعاون والشراكة ما بين المبدعين في عدة مجالات، ودائما نشوف في العلا destination built by artists أو مكان يبنى من قبل الفنانين. يمكن المكان عادة يبنى من قبل مهندسين، ولما نقول هذه الجملة ندعو أن الفن يكون جزء أساسي ومحور للحديث مع أي المعماري أو المهندس أو حتى الطاهي، يعني في كل المجالات الإبداع. وشكرا لكم.
شكرا نورا على هذا الطرح الغني يعكس أسرار تاريخ العلا وكنز حضاراتها الإنسانية. والشكر موصول لكم جميعا للحضور الكريم، لوقتكم، تواجدكم وتفاعلكم. أيضا نجدد اللقاء غدا إن شاء الله الساعة 5 عصرا في نفس المكان لليوم الثاني من منتدى الحراك الفني المحلي. لكم مني أطيب تحية وإلى اللقاء.